On this episode of Drinks with LX, I sit down at Hollywood hotspot Les Deux with socialite and entrepreneur Casey Johnson to talk about her budding makeup business, motherhood, and growing up as heir to the Johnson & Johnson empire. All right, so when did you actually move to Los Angeles?
I moved 6 years ago.
6 years ago, okay. And how is that, how the 6 years been so far? Because, I mean, you grew up, of course, on the East Coast.
Yeah, I did. I grew up on 64th and 5th.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know a single soul when I first moved here. Nikki and Paris, my best friends, were living in New York at the time. So I didn't know one person here. And I wasn't friends with Nicole Richie because I hadn't met her yet. So I really didn't know anyone except Lara Schriftman. And so I moved into the building that she lived in part-time. And it took me about 3.5 years to finally get adjusted. And since then I've acquired 3 dogs and a horse.
And
so I have a total of 4 dogs and a horse.
So you've got a small little farming community here in Los Angeles, which is something that you probably couldn't have on 65th and 5th so much.
I have a big German Shepherd, which I couldn't have in the city.
Right. You think that, that this is where you'll call home for good?
You know, I can't say. I think so. I think so. But I do want to have, I want to, you know, I'm in the middle of adopting a child. I go and see her, meet her for the first time at the end of the month. And I want her to live in Paris for at least a year and have that experience when she's like 10 or 11. So I'm looking at that. But I definitely don't want to bring her up in New York because it's just too wild.
So let's talk about this adoption. This is, okay, so how long has this been in the works now?
I went to Cambodia a year, almost 2 years ago in January. And I fell in love with this little girl, a 2.5-year-old named Lavisa. Since you can't adopt anymore from Cambodia. And I was devastated because I had bonded for 3 weeks with this child. I mean, I was buying her clothes in Cambodia. I was, you know, videoing her. I was, you know, doing everything. Then after, when I got back from Cambodia, I talked to some people and they said, you know, there's billions of children, orphans out there that need homes. And at about that time, my godmother, Deandra Douglas, adopted a baby Imara from Kazakhstan. And she's the most beautiful baby I've ever seen. She's blonde hair, blue-eyed, looks just like Deandra. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is what I'm gonna do. And so I went to another source of mine, who's this, another friend of mine who has 7 children, 1 adopted. And she adopted from the Ukraine, and she gave me the name of a great agency. She gave me a couple of names, and I called them, and I picked my agency. And I've been working with a terrific person over there, and I got the referral 2 months ago. And a referral means you get the picture of the child that's yours. And I can say it was probably the best day of my life to see her photos. I mean, I was hysterically crying and, you know, just out of joy.
So do you think, what do you think it's going to be like? I mean, you must have been thinking about this, like you said, you know, here's a child who's coming from nothing. You know, probably the worst situation that you could possibly imagine for any kid to grow up in. And then suddenly coming into a home, into a family name, you know, with a mom who has to buy another piece of luggage because she's bought so much for her. What do you think do you think about that transition? And
you know, even though I buy her a lot of clothes, I do not plan on spoiling her. There's no television allowed. You know, I bought her baby Einstein tapes, Mozart, Bach, CDs. So I don't plan on lavishing her with inappropriate things. You know, obviously I want her to look the best that she can and the cutest that she can, so I'm going to buy her a lot of clothes. But when she gets to be like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you know, and she says, Mommy, I want this, she's not going to get everything she wants. Yeah. And I did, growing up. And when it was my turn to handle my own money, it became a problem. Because I was like, well, I'm used to going to Bergdorf's and having a personal shopper and buying whatever I want and just charging it to my dad. And when I was given my money to handle by myself, which I do now, you know, I have to watch what I spend. I can't go buy 12 pairs of Manolo Blahniks at once.
Right.
You know, it's just not practical.
Right.
I must say that there is one thing that is extremely important that I am doing, and I'm starting a product line called Journey, which is a skincare line that's all natural. And I'm starting it with my partner, Barry Peel. I've worked really hard on it. Fabulous products, scrubs, eye creams, hand creams, under eye creams, neck creams.
Yeah. Oh, that must have been fun to test.
Oh, I have so much products in my house. My shower is like my
boyfriend's
mom came
like,
over.
what is that you're doing to your face
He's
today?
Like, he says to me every night, why do you spend an hour in the bathroom before you go to bed?
It's for my business. I'm like, the CEO of a company.
I'm like, honey, I'm scrubbing my face with this Sonic Air thing, and then I have to put a mask on, and I have to put the alpha hydroxy on. He's like, what do you do?
If they only knew.
Meanwhile, he takes like 45-minute showers. So.
Right.
So really high quality products at a lower price.
Right. It's kind of almost destiny in a way, though, because this is in your blood. Yeah. You know, taking care of skin and hair and doing that. Yeah. Did you think about that going into it?
Like, I did.
Yeah, I did. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Right.
I'm, you know, if you came into my bathroom, you'd think that I was a makeup artist because I have so much makeup, so many hair care products, so many shampoos. I must have 50 different shampoos and conditioners. Yeah. And my mother said when she came to visit me recently, she said, this is embarrassing. I was like...
So now at least you have a reason for all of that. This is, you know, product research is what it is.
Well, a lot of it also I got when I was a beauty editor. People send you tons of free stuff. So I got a lot of it for free, but then I can't stop buying, you know.
So this kind of legacy, I guess, you know, this family name that I know it must open a million doors and it's got to be a great thing, but is it ever a hindrance? Is it ever something that works against you, do you think, in your life?
Well, in two ways. One is you really have to get to know why someone wants to be your friend. And I've learned that the hard way. I've had a lot of people use me. And I'm so unaware of things like that that I just let things happen, and then I find out, oh my God, they're totally taking advantage of me. And then once at a party, I was walking by, and as I walked by these two girls, it was at MTV movie after party or something like that. One girl said to the other, oh, that's the Johnson & Johnson girl. And my heart just sank. Because I don't want to be identified like that. I'm Casey Johnson. Yeah. I'm not the Johnson & Johnson girl. I mean, I am, but it was just like...
Slap a label on the...
Yeah, it really hurt me for some reason. I'll never forget it.
What do you think about our... It's I think in recent times, not only are we obsessed with, you know, celebrities, and that's nothing new, but suddenly it's this new set of celebrities, you know? It's the girls with the famous last names, you know, the Hiltons, you know, Richie, Johnson. What do you think it is? Like, well, how do you view, like, our sort of obsession with these? I mean, because you're right in the middle of all of that. You know?
I think for people outside of Los Angeles and New York, our lives seem a lot larger than they are. You know, Nikki, for instance, Nikki Hilton, lives in a 1-bedroom house with 1 bathroom, small house, filled with clothes and bags and shoes, and really well decorated. And she drives a Range Rover. But she's not. It's nothing. You know, she doesn't have limos taking her around or private planes flying her around. You know, I live in a 3-bedroom house that is a really nice size because I'm going to have a family soon. But I don't live in some $30 million mansion in Beverly Park, you know, with servants and stuff like that. You know, my boyfriend and I were getting engaged in the next 3 weeks, and next year when our leases are up on our houses, we plan to buy a house together, and it has to be at least 6 bedrooms because I need a room for my closet and shoes and handbags, and we both need an office, and then there needs to be a nanny's room and a baby's room and our master bedroom and a guest room. So that's a lot of rooms.
Right.
So that's going to be pretty up there. Yeah. You know, that's going to be much bigger than what I'm used to. Yeah. You know, it's extravagant in one way, but it's not
as extravagant as you would think. Because
yeah,
the headlines we see are, you know, Paris having 18 birthday parties and jumping out of limos and you know, yachts.
Well, Paris does live a very extravagant life, I must say. I mean, when she goes out at night to a club, she takes a Hummer limo. You know, we'll go into a store and just buy everything in it. We'll go into Chanel and just buy 30 purses, you know. But she can do that. She's worked really hard. She's made all of her own money. She has a fabulous place. But again, it's not too big, but it's really well decorated and filled with clothes.
Right.
But she is the person that lives the most extravagantly out of all of my friends.
Obviously, a couple of years ago, huge headlines, and everybody was talking about it, about the headlines with you and your aunt and your ex-boyfriend. What did you learn from that experience? Or was that a huge impetus for change, you know, coming out of that experience?
It was so hurtful. It was hurtful that my aunt did what she did. And it was even more hurtful that the whole world found out about it. And it was on the cover of the Post. Page 6 items are never on the cover of the Post. It was on the cover. And it just was totally humiliating. And it taught me to be very wary of the press. And because I was told that this was going to be a puff piece in Vanity Fair, and it was anything but. So it's just taught me to be very wary of the press and who I talk to and what I say, and to really examine why people want to be with me, because this guy was not in love with me at all.
Seems like everything is kind of falling into place.
Yeah,
you know, like your whole,
this year,
it's like, this year is going to be a great, fantastic year for you then.
Yeah, I mean, engaged, a baby,
a new home,
a journey, the product line, you know, a new home.
Yeah, it's a good time.
And I had a psychic, Ronald Bard, who's a very world-renowned psychic, tell me that this was going to be my year. And, you know, I'm exercising and I'm healthy, I'm eating correctly. So I really am positive about the future and look forward to it.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Thank you.
I hope that was
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.